Good afternoon, this is Chuck, and today I want to look at two of my bikes, two very different bikes, as you can see. They are both Cannondale brand, but beyond that, there is a lot of difference between the two. And so I just wanted to compare these bikes and also just talk about how my riding has evolved over the years, how maybe my priorities riding a bike has changed. So just to go back a little bit in time, years ago, the only bike I had was a mountain bike, and I got to where I was riding it on the roads almost exclusively. Sometimes on trails, but mostly on the roads from my house. And I had the knobby tires on it, and I would ride miles, 5, 10 miles on it, and it was great. It was a good starting point for me. But I started wanting to be more efficient in my riding for smoother riding. And so what I did at first was I bought some smooth, slick tires and switched out my knobby tires on the mountain bike and put the slick tires on it. And that did help. It did smooth out the roads for me. I was able to go faster and ride a little more efficiently. But then over time, I wanted to even be more efficient. And so I really started looking into getting a road bike. And so here to the left, this bike is my road bike. It's a Cannondale CAD 8. And this is a 2015 model. And it's a great bike. It's an aluminum frame. It's an 18 speed. It has two chain rings up front, and then it has 9 speeds on the back. It has the Sora shifters on it, the integrated brakes and shifters here up front. And I love this bike. Um, I have put, I couldn't even tell you how many miles on it, and it's just been a great bike for me. And it has the rim brakes on it, front and back, and just kind of what I consider to be a classic road bike. And part of the reason I got this was not only for me to ride more efficiently, but just to be able to ride with other people on the roads who had road bikes themselves, just to be able to try to keep up with them when we were riding. You'll notice the pedals are just your standard flat pedals, which came with the bike. And for a couple of years, I got they're called clipless pedals, though they really you really clip in your shoes. And I got those thinking, well, I need to. That's what all the great road bikers have, and it makes me even more efficient in my pedaling because not only can I provide power with my legs in the down pedal, but also the up pedal because of the clips. And it did, but I, there were several times, and I guess this is probably something that everybody experiences who has the pedals that clip to their shoes. But there were several times where I fell. I and the last time was I was riding and there were some cars behind me on a 2-lane road and there was no shoulder, and I got to a place where there was a road intersection, and so I kind of got over and I slowed down, and I thought I had maybe one car behind me, but it turned out there were like two or three, and I came to almost a stop, and for whatever reason I couldn't unclip my shoe from the pedal quick enough, and I fell. And it hit pretty hard, even though I wasn't really moving go on the bike. I hit hard. It I think bruised my back ribs, and the people in the cars, they really felt sorry for me. I know one of them rolled down the window and asked if I was okay, and I was. It just hurt a lot, and so that was for me what what made me decide I just don't need to be clipping my shoes into the pedals. And I know a lot of people do that, and hey, that's an individual choice. But for me, I just determined that was not a great choice. And so, yeah, I love this road bike. It has, as far as the wheels, the tires, these are 700C tires. They are, very narrow and slick. These are 25 millimeter wide tires, perfect for riding on the roads. Uh, I love this bike, but just in recent, just more recent time for me, this is not really my go-to everyday bike anymore, like it once was when I would be riding from home to somewhere. Here to the right is what, for me, has replaced the road bike for my everyday go-to bike, and this is a Cannondale Quick CX or Quick Cross 3, and it's a hybrid bike. It is a hybrid bike that does lean more toward the mountain bike side of hybrids, and that's because of these front forks, the shocks. They have 50 millimeter of travel. You can lock these out. Like right now, I just locked them out where they won't absorb shocks. They're just like a solid fork, which if I'm riding on roads, that makes my riding more efficient where the shocks are not absorbing some of the energy of me pedaling. But usually I keep the shocks operating in the shock mode. But it does have the front shocks. Instead of rim brakes, it has the hydraulic disc brakes front and back. This is an 8-speed with single chainring in the front and then 8 gears in the back. And so this really has become my more of my go-to everyday bike. And that's not to say that I don't still ride the road bike. There are times when I'm in the mood to ride it, and will ride it. But from my house in my subdivision, and I guess you could say this is a complaint, but and I actually have complained about it, but our roads in my subdivision are deteriorating. They're in poor condition. It's been over 20 years since much of the subdivision's been paved, and so the roads have become very rough. Oh my, and there are a lot of potholes, and I can obviously dodge the potholes with the road bike, and I definitely try to do that. But when I ride the road bike on the rough roads, it has this. By the way, it's an aluminum frame. It has carbon forks on the front, which the carbon forks are a little more flexible than the aluminum and do help absorb some of the road shock. But when I ride on these rough roads, it just grates at me. I don't enjoy it, and I've just had many times, and I'm thinking, why am I riding this road bike on these horrible roads in my subdivision? And so that's one thing that led me to start riding this hybrid, just just riding the half or so mile out of my subdivision, and having well, for one, the shocks to absorb some of the feel of the road, but also the tires. These are 700C tires, and they are 40 millimeters wide, and also at a lower air pressure. On my road bike, I usually air these up to around 100 to 110 psi, pounds per square inch. On the hybrid, I usually keep the psi on it around 50 or 60 pounds per square inch. So a lot less air pressure, which makes the tires more, I guess, flexible, pliable. They absorb some of the road shock too. And then with this hybrid, while I do still try to dodge the potholes, if I do happen to hit one, this bike will handle it much better than the road bike. I would be concerned on the road bike that I might damage it. Maybe damage the or bend my put my rims or get them out of true. This this hybrid bike, it's it's just a little more robust, and can handle the roads or even some mild off-road. And that's something else. I like the versatility of this hybrid bike. I like the flexibility of the hybrid bike. And there have been many occasions where I've gotten on my road bike and I ride through the city of Allgood, which is about the downtown part's about 2 miles from here. And there in this downtown Allgood is the trailhead for the Tennessee Central Trail. And by the way, in another video that I made, I have a tour of that trail in case you're interested. And so I definitely encourage you to check that out. And on that trail, I did ride this Cannondale Quick CX, the hybrid bike on that. But there have been many times when I've been riding through Allgood and I was on the road bike and I just thought, well, hey, I'd like to get on the trail and ride a little bit. And I have. I've ridden this road bike on the Tennessee Central Trail many times, and it does fine. That trail, you can really, as I said in my video about that trail, you can really ride any type of bike on the Tennessee Central Trail. But I just don't feel as comfortable or confident on the Tennessee Central Trail with the road bike as I do when I ride with this hybrid. With the narrow tires crossing over the railroad tracks, that just makes me always feel uneasy. Something else too with the road bike, just by its nature, of course, it has the drop handlebars, which are really nice. You can get into the different hand positions. You can hold these bars, in different places up on top of the hoods. You can go down into the lower part of the bars, and that's very nice. And it's great when you're at higher speeds, maybe 15 miles an hour or faster on the roads. But when you're going at slower speeds, like 10 miles an hour or less on, say, like the Tennessee Central Trail, these handlebars are narrower, and I don't feel as confident and stable with this as I do with the hybrid bike here, where you have the flat bars that are much wider and just give a lot more control and stability on a trail like the Tennessee Central Trail and at the lower speeds. And that's something else and so that I like. And so when I leave the house riding on this bike, if I decide I want to jump on the Tennessee Central Trail, I feel much more confident and much more at ease on this bike on that trail than I do with the road bike. And so that's another factor. Something else too, this, as you can kind of see here, this is my backyard going up the mountain there, but this is a very mountainous, hilly area, lots of ups and downs. And with this road bike, there are some hills I ride on that are pretty steep going up. And just by the way it's geared, there, even in the lowest gear on this bike, I think maybe the lowest gear is a ratio of something around maybe 1 to like 1.1, 1.2, something like that. So it's a fairly low gear, but going up some of the steeper hills, I just find myself struggling a little bit. And with this hybrid bike, just overall, the gearing is lower, but the lowest gear on this, the ratio is 1 to 0.88. So the hybrid bike has a considerably lower lowest gear compared to the road bike. And so going up some of the steeper hills, I can really put it down in the lowest gear and just go right up with a lot less effort, struggling less. And so that's something else that I like, is just it does have the lower gears. Now, if I'm out just and I want speed and efficiency on the road bike is clearly going to be the winner between these two. The highest gear on this road bike, I believe, is maybe like a ratio of 1 to like 4.4 or something like that. On the hybrid bike, the highest gear on it, I believe, is a ratio of 1 to like 3.67. So, I mean, there is a pretty wide variety of gears on the hybrid bike, but it does not have as high of gears as the road bike does for going faster on the roads. And then too, with the narrower, smoother tires on the road bike, that's going to make me more efficient on the roads. And then I can get my hands down into, the lower position on the bars, and really make myself more aerodynamic, and can go faster. But another thing I think that's changed for me, and it's just maybe just my age as I get older, I'm just not as concerned about going fast on a bike. I just want to get out and enjoy myself. And as I said, I still enjoy the road bike, but with this hybrid bike, I can get out, I can ride. I don't have, I'm not as worried about going super fast. I just want to get out and enjoy the outdoors and being on a bike. And as I said earlier, I enjoy the versatility. I can easily transition from roads to a trail like the Tennessee Central Trail, or I can even go even like a gravel bike ride, with gravel road, or even a very light uh, mountain bike trail I could even handle with this. Now, I do also have a mountain bike, and if I know I'm going to be riding on mountain bike trails, I would definitely prefer the mountain bike over this hybrid. But with the hybrid, there is a lot of versatility with it, and so really, what I would just tell anyone, and of course I tell myself this too, but what I would tell anyone about a bike is ride what you're comfortable with, what you enjoy. Ride what you're comfortable with, and don't be concerned what other people think about your bike. I mean, I know there's people out there that maybe would look down on a hybrid bike. They might say, well, you can ride a variety of different conditions with it, but it doesn't excel at anything. And well, maybe there is some truth to that. I mean, the hybrid bike does not excel at being a road bike, and it does not excel at being a mountain bike, but it is a nice, just kind of in between, just a general purpose bike that can do a lot. The road bike excels at riding on the road. There's no way in the world I would ever take this road bike on a mountain bike trail. No way. Not that I couldn't do it, but I just think that's a really bad idea. I'm afraid I would damage the bike, puncture a tire. And there are gravel bikes, which are similar to road bikes, but have thicker, more off-road tires on them, and maybe a little bit more robust frame design that can handle some light off-road, but not a road bike. But yeah, and I can ride my mountain bike on the roads, but still, it's just because of the gearing. It has the very low gearing. It's just not as efficient on the roads. And so ride what you like, ride what you're comfortable with, and also just ride what you have. I mean, if whatever bike you have, whether it be a mountain bike, road bike, hybrid, cruiser, whatever, if you enjoy riding, just start with what you have, and then if you decide you want something different, then you can obviously save up to get a different kind of bike, maybe that would suit you better, and maybe go to the bike store, a local bike store, and try different bikes and just see what suits you the best. And something I'll say about, well, both of these bikes, and I'm actually quoting one of my favorite YouTubers, the Bike Farmer, and his name's Andy. And a lot of times in his videos, he'll say the bike is good enough for who it's for. And these two bikes are definitely good enough for who it's for, me. Actually, I would say they're much better than who they're for. In other words, I'm very blessed to have both of these. They're both really solid quality bikes. Are either of these bikes high end? No, not at all. But they are two really solid quality bikes. And so yeah, ride what you like, what you enjoy, and don't worry about what other people think. So yeah, really that's it. That's all I wanted to say for today. And if you're still with me and you enjoyed this video, please like it. And then also please subscribe to the channel. I'm just getting started out, but I do plan to have other videos coming. And so I hope everybody has a great day, and just get out there and enjoy riding.